I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
Why? I wonder
Is it
if
my
your
glasses?
glasses are just bringing more of the color out.
Maybe because the only makeup I wear is I have like it's so lazy. I have one of those eyeshadow pencils that you just
Yeah.
kind of like scribble on and then I kind of blend it in. But because I used to be so into makeup. When I lived in Chicago, like I had all the palettes. I would like do all the YouTube tutorials. I don't know if all Sephoras do this, but a lot of the Sephoras in Chicago, they would have makeup classes on the weekends. So I would go to
Oh.
at least one a month to like learn. I was so into makeup. And then I moved here and it's like too hot to do makeup. Like half of my makeup is like, it's like it gets all gross. Like you just can't
Yeah.
like maintain like the quality of it. And then just to put it on, it feels gross. But like to be on video, I just do like one of those pencil things
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the
I've actually been using the pencils too. Well, it must be your glasses like making your eye color pop.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I
Yeah.
think I'll
What
wear
color
these
are your
glasses
eyes?
more often. I actually get really self-conscious, like when especially when I make YouTube videos, because I see these other girls and they're all glammed up, and I'm like, I look like
Listen,
such a
me
bum.
too.
Yeah.
I I don't think about it while we're doing this, but
See,
every
I
now
don't
and then
think
when I
about
go
it
to
with you.
post the
Yeah.
video, I'm like, "Well, mama, you couldn't have fucking brushed your hair? Shit." Like, there's been lots of times I'm like, "I should have rethought that. I look like shit." And then, especially, like, as I posted on YouTube, I'm like, "Ugh," because I'll see these other TikTok clips of these people, and they look all cute and whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, that's fine, I guess."
Well, I'm trying to embrace my inner beach bum, so I'm like, maybe that's just my brand that I'm not all glammed up.
Well, and my brand is no frills, so if I feel
See?
like I actually put on a lip today. I was playing around
Oh,
with
that looks
something.
good. It
Don't
looks
usually do that,
Wait, what is
and,
it?
you know
Is that a liner?
okay, so
It looks good.
the liner is actually I did line it. It's actually one of the eyeshadow sticks, and then, a blush.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
playing around with shit, and I was like, "Okay, well, that's fine, okay," you know? For some reason, the ring light, which I guess I could turn it down, it does kind of like you can't see any of the, like, bronze or anything that I put on,
Mm.
but that's fine. Thank you, light, I guess, I don't know, whatever. So, anyway, I'm just tired, but, played around with some shit while I had some time, and, here we are.
See, and that's just it. I think it's just like you don't need a lot. It's just like the little things. Like I was having
Yeah.
this conversation with one of my friends recently because like she has kids and she feels like she's always like running around being frazzled. And she was like, I feel like I need to like glam up more. I think I even said like lipstick. I was like, I don't think you need much. Like just do something that makes you feel better. I don't think you need to be all glammed up about it.
Yeah, and you know what I find, especially when you're in that, phase of life, but even, like, now where I'm trying to build energy stores, things like that, a good skincare routine feels just as yummy to me as, like, putting
Yeah,
on makeup,
agreed.
and even, like, yesterday, I left the house. I'm doing this more and more with just skincare, like, nothing else on, which used to be, like, would never happen. I mean, it's not like I was, like, full glam, but, like, I had a little something on, you know? But, like, I feel good when I just, like, take really good care of my skin, and so, um spraying perfume, like,
Mm,
getting in the
yeah.
shower and having a clean body just makes me feel a ton better, and so just doing, like, probably 30 minutes worth of, like, get in the shower, clean off my body, get out, do my skincare, spray on some perfume, wear something like, even though I was dressed very casually, I liked what I was wearing, so
Yeah.
it's I think it's about effort and intention, and then you're just like, "Yeah, I'm
Well,
feeling
and
myself."
also it's about how you feel because
Mhm,
even if you just do the little tweaks and you feel good about it, that is what's shining outward and that's what people
mhm.
sense.
I think so
Whereas
too.
like the full glam could be, I'm not saying this for everyone, but it could be covering up like an insecurity or something deeper and then people can sense that. So it's not what about you look on
Well,
the
there are some
outside.
people who do full glam and still feel really shitty.
So that's what I mean, but I think
Yeah,
externally, the message we get is whatever you're expressing. So if you're like feeling shitty on the inside despite being full glam, I think that's what people are sensing and vice
and
versa. Like you can
truly,
look like a beach bum and like be expressing something positive.
abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
And I think this is what I missed or misunderstood so deeply as a teenager was why some people were just so effortlessly gorgeous. And
Yeah.
I was so cute and just did not see it. And then it puts you in that whole like judging other women, judging other girls at that age, being standoffish with guys, all in that same like
Yeah.
narrative thing where I'm pushing any opportunities for closeness with friends or males away with this like, inauthenticity. I mean, because even if I wasn't like showing the ick that I felt inside, I was acting like a fucking idiot. Like I
Yeah.
just was
Same.
so stupid. And so, yeah, that it always came across as weird and whatever because it fucking was, you
Yes.
know?
You. Oh my God. Same.
I and did you ever so, okay, here's the deal. I started listening to the advice of, like, the movies about the girl next door, like, they're always so effortless and whatever, and they get all the
Yeah.
guys, and they would talk about this thing that we're talking about, like, it'd be the theme of the movie or whatever, that basically, the less you try, the better it is, whatever, and I started to evaluate my behavior in, like, situations with males especially, and I'd be like, "You do act real loud and dumb." Like, what do you and I still could not I couldn't fix it. Like, and I think
Yeah.
it's because I just had no well, I wouldn't say no, I mean, I think I actually was pretty connected to authenticity at that for my age and my trauma and whatever, I think I really was, but I didn't know, it's always been the men that get me sideways, you know what I mean? Like, I'll
Oh, I
go
know.
sideways real quick for a dude, and so I really struggled. Like, I remember Melissa, like, actively talking to myself, like, "Stop doing this. This is so embarrassing." Because it was. Like, I just did I'm not even gonna get into it, but I did the dumbest shit for attention from boys that didn't work a little bit, not
Right.
even a
Because
little bit,
yeah, because 'cause you're just trying too hard, and they sense that.
way too hard, way too hard. Yeah, I remember during the divorce crazies when I was a giant whore, uh the best luck I had is when I was I'd go out with my brother, and it'd be like, I'm just his DD and whatever, so I'm not I'm not trolling for ass or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting there on my phone scrolling while he's being drunk and dumb out and doing whatever he's doing. Best luck ever. Dude's like,
yeah.
"Hey, what do because I'm not trying at all,
I
and
remember I
all
made
the
a
other
shift.
times I'm just flittering."
Yeah, I made a shift in college during my clubbing days, and I would go out just to have fun, so I would, like, dance or whatever, and and I wouldn't even be paying attention to the guys, but one of my friends, she would always make fun of me because she was like, "Every man wanted you," and she's like, "You had no idea because you were just, like, off in your own world." So it's like when I wasn't paying attention and was just, like, concerned about me, that's when they would come, but when I cared, I would get in that, like, desperate energy and repel everyone.
Okay, but do you know what else I did? Pretended to not care sometimes. Like, if I was out with my brother, I really didn't care, but there were times I was out with friends just pretending I didn't care, like
Does that work?
Doing things that on the outside looked like I was just being whimsical and whatever. No, bitch, I'll still fucking try. I'm embarrassed. I'm
The energy
embarrassed.
doesn't lie. That proves
It
it.
doesn't. It doesn't. That's what's funny about it is, like, those are the times I think about the most often, the times that I was trying to look like I didn't give a shit and was still just being so inauthentic
Yeah.
because I cared a
Yeah, I think
lot.
that makes it worse. Either care too much and be
Exactly.
full out cringe about it or don't care.
Right, like, if you're gonna be super dumb, go be dumb, but don't be dumb pretending like you're not doing it for real. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is, but that I think looking back at those experiences truly is whenever I was starting to realize, like, "Oh, okay. It is my relationship to men that I have learned the very most about myself from
Yeah.
because I have done the dumbest shit for male validation. And I've really worked hard over this last couple years to decenter men. I would be a lying liar face to say I've done that 100%, but I don't, I think far, far, far less often am I thinking, "What do those males think about me when I'm out in public?" Which it used to
Yeah.
be, and I didn't give a fuck if I was married or not, like, I still cared what men thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I cared a lot, and so, yeah, it was the only source of validation that mattered to me, the only
Yeah.
one. It's wild how I could not feel whole without, and for years, it only related to sex, like, you had to
Oh,
fully wanna
yeah.
have sex with me or else I wasn't worthy as a human, truly.
Were you ever rejected for sex?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes,
And I remember
bitch.
the
Is
first
that
time
not
it
the most
happened,
awful
it was
feeling?
devastating. I was
Yes!
devastated.
Well, all the movies are like, the boys are the ones who get rejected and whatever, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
And I
really
remember I was
embarrassing.
so embarrassed, and
Yeah.
finally I confided in one of my friends. Her name's Beth, we're still friends, and, like, she was so hot and would get all the guys, and so I confided in her, and she was basically like, "What's the big deal? It's happened to me." And I was like, "What? This is a thing?" Like, I didn't realize that it happened to women.
Well, here's the deal. My first husband was very avoidant and ADHD, and I would diagnose him as autistic.
Okay.
And so, as I now understand those diagnoses, I understand how intimacy is affected by them, but at the time, I had no idea that there was a man on this planet that didn't think about sex 24/7. I I thought about sex 24/7. I've always been a very hypersexual person, and, also, I've learned hyper arousal where you're, like, activated in survival mode, you're gonna have a sexual response to that too oftentimes. Like,
Mm.
anytime I took stimulants, too much caffeine, anything is like, "Let's go fuck." I mean, it was so much,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
I thought about it all the time. I wanted it every single day, and he didn't. Nowhere near that, and so for 10 years of being with him and I lost my virginity to him. So for
Okay.
10 years, I thought I was the problem. Like, really, I was like, "Oh, I'm disgusting. I'm unattractive," all the things, and
Yeah.
so then that's why during the divorce crazies, which most girls, I think, during the divorce crazies go be crazy, but I was like, anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone that would show me the smallest amount of attention. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And it has taken so many years to unpack all of that. And, when I quit taking stimulants a couple of years ago, slowly over time, and just from moving less, being at home more, whatever, my libido really dropped. I think it's probably at like a normal level now, but like there for a little bit whenever I was using edibles every fucking day and whatever. I mean, we were like
Mm.
3 times a day there for a hot second because I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's time. We have time. Let's go. Um, And then now it's, like, just a really normal level, and I'm still, like there are times I'm like, "Is that normal?" You know, like, I get a little like, "Uh-oh," and then
Yeah.
as I've taken myself less seriously, I'm like, "Are do you wanna have sex right now? Okay, then, who cares?" Like, who
Yeah,
cares?
I think that's, like, what is normal, right? I think
Right.
you recognized when it was unhealthy and dysfunctional, so I think you define what's healthy and functional.
Yes. Well, and it used to really, like oh, it would just get to me when people would talk about their spouses who, were bugging them for sex all the time, and I was just like, "That's not my experience," and I remember when I went to church, there was, like, this sermon over it one time about women not withholding from men, and I was, like, crying because I was like, "What about men withholding from women?"
Yeah. I know,
It's
it's
so
not talked
ingrained in
about,
society. Exactly.
but
And
yeah,
I
it
know
is
you
a thing.
carried lots of shame about, not wanting to, and now I just understand what the avoidant pattern was, like, I get that now. So it's like, "Oh, I could have made that situation so much better had I understood it, but whatever." That was a lesson I had to learn in life. It was a long lesson, Angie, a long
Oh,
lesson.
I feel like up until 5 years ago, all of my lessons were very long and painful.
It's annoying, kind of.
Yeah, it, like, really makes me wanna, like, go back in time and shake myself.
I know. How much life and every time I think that, though, I'm like, "Well, but you can't get here if you don't have really hard times." So that it was all a part of the path, but damn
Yeah,
it. There's just so much I would change, so much, but I guess that's why we can't. Because how else do you
yeah,
learn? I
I don't
couldn't
know.
change it because I didn't have that fucking information.
I know. Yeah, also, like, if I could go back even 5 or 6 years ago and give myself advice, I would have been like, "Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about."
Oh my god, that's so true. Ooh, it's nice to know somebody whose ego is just as big as mine. Because listen, unsolicited advice, no. I wasn't, and I learned, though, that that's a trauma response, that
Yeah, I actually just posted something this morning,
really?
because I still don't agree with unsolicited advice. Like, for instance, if you came to me with constructive criticism, I'm okay with that. But even if you came to me with unsolicited advice, I would be like, like, where's this coming from? But especially with like strangers or like people who don't know me very well, I'm like, oh, hell no. Yeah, it's a form of control.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. Because, well, I just know this, and you would like notice it from your own experiences. So I've always been on the receiving end of unsolicited advice. So because I know how that feels, I'm not saying I've never done it, but I usually don't. But being on the receiving end, like for instance, my mom was one who would always give me unsolicited advice, but her life was always so out of control and she was so miserable
Yes.
in her own life that she would always try to control me and what I was doing and be worried about what I was doing. And so I started recognizing that in other people because anyone who's looking for control outside of themselves are definitely out of control inside of themselves.
Oh, absolutely. So, would you say, though, that your mom's advice was more criticism?
Oh, for sure. Cause
Yeah, my grandma too.
yeah, just because it wasn't what she wanted me to do. So she would criticize me about it.
Oh
But that's
god,
what
my grandma
unsolicited
too.
advice is, right? Because the thing I posted about this morning, this girl on YouTube basically, she wrote like paragraphs about how she thought my glasses were too big for my face. And she was like, you should wear smaller frames. You should cut your hair in a certain way. You should do this. And I was like,
What the
yeah.
fuck?
And immediately I'm like, she needs to look at herself. Like, if you're like focusing that much on someone else and how they're wearing their glasses, how they're wearing their hair, there is something going on with you internally. Okay. And also on this note, I consider myself like more spiritually evolved than what I used to be, but I still have like a little pettiness in me. So I made this video on YouTube like months ago. It was about unsolicited advice and how it's a trauma response and a form of control. I responded to her comment. I was like, "Hey, you might like this video." And I posted the link for that video.
That's perfect.
I
That
thought it was
is
so
so
petty.
funny.
I thought it was so petty, but I was
No,
like,
I don't think it's petty, and you know what? This is why, though, I have said like, I was trying to figure out a way I want to handle stuff like that, like, I have a
"You can use my
clear,
video
fast
if you want."
rule. You know what I mean? Like, when people are just shitty on comments, like, do I wanna be like,
Yeah, it's
what do
hard,
how do I
right?
wanna act, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's petty. I think that's a great response because, ugh, she's probably a fucking Virgo moon because that's all they do is look external of themselves and criticize. And they see that is the way they show love, truly. And it's like, I can understand that and even have compassion for it, but shut the fuck up. It gets
Yeah,
on my
because it's
fucking
not
nerves so
helpful.
much. It's
Actually, that would be a good
inappropriate to go to
comeback.
YouTube and tell somebody they need to change their fucking appearance based off what you find aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
That's the thing that drives me crazy about
Me
people like
too.
that because I'm like,
Because that's your
according to
opinion.
you, yes, your opinion is this, but like if you were to line 100 people up, so many of people are going to say this, so many people are going to say this, you're going to have an outlier. Like that's your opinion. My
Yeah.
opinion is that I look cute, so shut the fuck up.
Or there's this guy on Instagram. This dynamic was pointed out by another person's account, but this guy, he makes beautiful handcrafted bags. Like he posted a video of like how he's cutting the leather. It's like real leather. He's like doing all the hardware stuff. He's doing all the stitching all by hand. So this is like a luxury handbag process, right?
Yeah.
And he charges luxury prices. However, his bags are not my style.
Right.
But if you and so that's just it. I watched the video. I even liked it because I can appreciate his art, but I didn't comment. Like, and I'm not gonna buy anything because it's just not my style. But if you read the comments, it's like, well, you should do this hardware. You should put your logo. You should do this. And it's like, it's not your brand. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Like, it's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of the bean salad theory
Yes.
or
Because
whatever?
it's like, why
It's
don't you
the
put
same
meat in it?
thing.
Why don't you use these
Or
beans? It's
well, what
like,
if you're allergic to beans?
yeah, then don't make
And
the
it's
fucking
like,
recipe.
it's not fucking for you then. And do you have to go, this is not for me?
Yeah.
No, you don't. And if you do, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Literally.
like,
Examine some shit in your heart.
why can't you just appreciate someone's video? Like, "Oh, this is a really cool recipe. It's not for me."
Oh, there's tons of shit I watch just because it's aesthetically pleasing and the
Yeah,
sounds are nice and whatever, and I'm never gonna do it or use it or buy it or anything. I
yeah,
love to watch. Oh, you know what I've been really into is watching these 2 young girls that do press-on nails. They design them and sell them.
yeah.
I'm not gonna buy that shit, but I like watching it, and I'm not
S
gonna go, "Oh, you should have put the flower in this placement." What do I fucking know about press-on nails? Not shit. I like
Right,
watching the videos, and it's not for me. Those nails are not
yeah,
for me, I promise you. But I can appreciate their talent, their hard work, their cute little personalities. Like, all
yeah.
ki I watch fucking 12-year-olds who post "Get ready with me" videos. I
I know,
mean,
I
you know what I
love
mean?
those. I
I
love
know.
those because it's like, they're so like, I think they're so brave because
Yes.
12-year-old me never would've like, I mean,
Harley
YouTube
posts some.
yeah, YouTube and stuff didn't exist, but if it did, trust me, I would not
Oh,
have been
I'd had a
posting.
channel, baby. I would have, because I was
Oh,
just
you would?
waiting to be discovered, okay?
But I just think it's so brave and yeah, I love it. You're
Yes,
right, you can
but, like,
appreciate the thing without doing
I
it.
don't care about that. Like, I'm not like, "What shirt is that? I wanna wear." You know what I mean? I'm watching it because I'm perpetually addicted to the fucking internet.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for me, you know? Like, it just drives me crazy, and so that is this is a really good point about unsolicited advice. First of all, that is why it is a trauma response to not appreciate any unsolicited advice, even the ones that are well-meaning, okay? Because Like, for instance, it was like, I'm the one in my family that had it all together, right? And I'm the one that
Mhm.
people come to for advice. So if you're giving me advice that I didn't ask for, it's like saying you don't think I have my shit together or like I can't handle
Yeah.
something or whatever. It doesn't have to mean that. That may not be your intention, but that is the way my little wounding takes it. That part's on me. I have to
Yeah.
figure that out. But at the same time, and I'm saying all of this as the world's worst unsolicited advice giver, okay? I am a fucking advice giver. I've worked for years on this because as much as I fucking hate it, I do it so badly. But it's always like, it's not like how you should decorate your house or your clothes or your makeup or anything like that. It's like, someone comes to me and they're venting about their life and whatever, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you should blah, blah, blah." I switched from "you should" and started doing it in a different way, but it's still me giving unsolicited advice. I mean, they didn't ask, but I didn't know how to,
Yeah.
like, sit with someone and just validate. I didn't understand that, and I didn't know how. I'm much better about that now, but I'm can't
I've
say I'm great.
Yeah, I've started just asking people like, "Hey, would you like feedback?" And if they do, fine. If they don't, fine. And honestly,
Yeah.
whenever I ask that question, people are usually pretty receptive to feedback. But it's
Yeah.
probably because they know it's going to be more constructive criticism type feedback than like,
Right.
"You should blah 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 blah."
Yes. Yeah, and I'll tell you, you start a sentence like that with me, my little, pathological demand avoidance, no, don't tell me what to do, bitch.
Yeah, same.
No, because I got my shit together, okay? I mean, it's just I'm a rebel at my core. I'm not gonna do something just because you tell me to, and it may have even been very good advice, so that sucks for me and you because 'cause I'm not listening because you told me to do it. Which that's why I think it's so funny that it irritates the shit out of me, but isn't that just the perfect little mirror, you
Yeah.
know? It was one of the things that I really thought long and hard about whenever I was thinking about things that really bothered me about interactions with others, but I'm like, I'm trying to figure out all the time in real time why I'm so like, I feel like I have all these raw nerve endings right now, and, like, you almost can't say the right thing to me if you're trying to comfort me at all about Jake. Like, it's the attempt at it that is getting to me.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's I know what you mean because I've been in your shoes. So what I've been doing is like and not just with you, but with other people, it's like, if I were in her shoes, would this feel genuine or would it feel? Because I know what you mean, it's like they're just trying to say something and it's not working and then that pisses you off, you go
Yes.
so, it's like I
Yeah.
just try to say something from a genuine place and not from trying to make you feel better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like I'm trying so hard. I realize it's a me thing, so I'm going, "Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that they said that." And then so I feel that, and then I don't judge myself for not liking because I was judging myself very harshly there for a little bit, where I'm just like, "Okay, I don't like that. Alright, cool, you're allowed to not like it." And then the next step for me is because it feels aligned to say, "And I know they didn't mean harm."
I
So
know,
then
and
I
that's
can
the
let it
hard
go.
part because people are just weird and awkward, and
Yeah,
in
yeah.
most cases, you know they're not meaning to rub you the wrong
N
way.
nobody's saying the dumb shit, like the super dumb shit that's
Yeah.
like, "Well, he's in a better place." I mean, I have had a couple of, like, things like, "Well, since you're spiritual and, he's still, with us or whatever, it's not really a loss."
Yeah.
Okay. It is. It is.
Because
Mhm, it is, and that was sweet that you tried, but don't do that, but, like, that was probably the worst thing anyone said, but that person who said it is so sweet that I was like, you're just reaching, and this is why though, like, let's maybe just not try to be the prophetic friend. Let's just
I
listen.
know. Or yeah, and that's what even and I'm not, like, trying to minimize your experience, but even, like, because I'm from Chicago. I've always lived in high rises. I live in a high rise here. It reminds me of elevator etiquette. some people are so uncomfortable in silence or not saying anything that they just say the weirdest, most awkward thing, and in my mind, I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Just don't say anything."
Just shut the fuck up and
And
let's have an
so
awkward silence for a
yeah.
second.
So that's, like,
Yeah.
such good advice when you're talking to someone who's grieving or going through a hard time. If you don't know what to say, just don't even say anything. Just give them a hug or something.
Just yeah, I mean, ask how
Yeah.
you're doing. I mean,
Just don't
like,
say anything.
and someone said too, like,
Or "I'm sorry" is, like, a good blanket statement.
yeah, yeah. Um, I'm thinking about you. I love you. I care about you. Like, express what you're feeling, not try to don't try to impact how I'm feeling. Just express, like, man, I've been hurting for you. Whatever. You know what I mean? But like someone said the other day, and this was not, this is what I'm saying is like, I'm trying to figure my shit out because it was like I posted on Instagram and Facebook, whatever, because it goes everywhere when you post it somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, what I chose to see the day as, whatever, on his birthday. And someone was like, something like, hope today wasn't really bad, but I'm glad to see that you had a positive attitude or something like that. And I'm like, what? I mean, if I hadn't, though, I'm allowed, like, if it had been
Yeah.
like an utterly devastating day and I conveyed that, that would be fine too. This is what I'm saying is you can't say shit to me right now without me just feeling
Yeah.
irritated by it.
And
But I also
also
know that's from a dysregulated nervous system. Like
yeah.
everything external of me is going to be seen as a threat to my survival by my nervous system. I also know my confirmation bias really wants to push everyone away. It really does. That's the strongest survival instinct I have is to find a reason to keep separation between me and other people. That's what helps me. I'm aware, I acknowledge, like, oh, I just got irritated by that. And I say, and that's fine. And then I just move forward. But I hope there's a day when it's not just irritating, it hurts. Like it feels literally like a raw nerve that's being touched. And I don't like to talk a lot about that because I don't want to discourage people. This is why I'm also on the other end of things receiving so much fucking silence. I'm not taking it personally. I
Yeah.
understand people are like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, whatever. I'm seeing that for what it is and I'm not like feeling rejected or whatever because it's also my responsibility to reach out to other people, but I'm trying not to, like, I do wanna educate lovingly, but I'm trying not to be like this uber bitch that's like, "Don't say this, don't say this, don't say this, don't say this," because this is
Yeah.
the reason that people don't reach out when they know somebody's going through this.
It's a good point. So what is the balance? Although I remember one time, this is when I worked in corporate America, this woman at work, her sister died. And so I reached out to her. I sent her an email because that's all the information, that's all the way I knew how to contact her. And I just said, "I'm sorry for your loss." And the girl who worked for me, her name's Ash, she was like, she worked really closely with this woman. And she was like, and they had like each other's like phone numbers. And she was like, "I want to text her, but I feel weird. So I'm just not going to text her." And so I explained to her, I was like, when before my dad died, I was like, when something like this happened, I had no idea what to say. And then after he died, I realized there is nothing to say. Like, it's just
Yeah.
so hard to find the words. But I was like, saying anything is worse than silence. So I guess this is contradicting what I just said earlier. But still, like, just a simple, "I'm sorry for your loss." And that's what I told Ash. I'm like, even if you just say, "I'm sorry for your loss," like, you're making the acknowledgement and reaching out, and it's not saying too much. It's just very simple. And so she did. She
Yeah.
said her, "I'm sorry for your loss." And then she responded, like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then Ash was all excited. She was like, "You're right. It worked." And I'm like, there's your lesson.
Yeah, because I mean, in that way, they care. Like
Yeah.
and I remember in the early days, first of all, it was nice because it kind of kept me busy because I was getting so many, I mean, hundreds.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of nice. Um, it was like nothing made me feel better, but the presence of people made me
Yeah.
feel better. You know what I mean? Like just people attempting to connect and most of them were just like, "I'm so fucking sorry. Like, is there
Yeah.
anything we can do?" You know what I mean? And
Or I've even said,
I
like
know I feel that energy. When
yeah,
you're, like, just trying to I felt the love there, but when you're trying to give me all these flowery words and
like,
whatever, it's like, "Oh my
justifying
god."
why you should feel better about it or
All
something.
of it,
Yeah.
all of it. It's like, "Okay. I get that you don't get this. I get that. I
Or
get
I've
that,
even
but Imma
said
need you to stop now, okay? Okay." And I also told Brian this, and he actually admitted that this was something he was experiencing too. Some of those messages, like, because really all you want is to not feel alone, and
yeah,
so some of the messages that we would get were very, like, close-ended, not like you feel like you should even respond to it because it was like they just verbally vomited whatever they thought they should say to make you feel better or whatever, and then that's that. Like, it wasn't genuine at all. It was, like, basically copy paste a poem to give to you, and it's like, "Okay, thank you." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
has anyone ever
why are
sent
you
you a
doing
Bible
that?
verse?
No, but I told you someone sent me that fucking Joel Osteen video.
Oh,
I was like, "Delete. Won't be watching that, thank you." Delete.
uh,
So, anyway, yeah, I think it's just an area where I take myself a little too seriously, and I'm willing to just surrender to the fact that everything's gonna irritate me right now, and it doesn't mean shit about them or me, and just be fine with that.
yeah,
Because the more I'm, like, holding on to it, like, being like, why am I so?" Because I don't want to be. It's not what I want at all. I want to automatically, without any processing, be like, "Well, that was sweet. It was dumb, but it was sweet." You know what I mean? And move on. But instead, I'm like, "Ugh," and it's all the time. It's all the fucking time, and I hate it. I hate the way I feel. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm mad at myself. Not currently because 'cause I'm giving myself a break, but
yeah.
I just it's like it's a overarching theme of my life that I've always just been so irritated by people who, like, wanna show up for me in any way. I'm so irritated by it, and I'm like, this is how I've kept myself safe is, like, to be like, "Ugh, ugh." You know what I mean? Like, even this is something that's really hard for me to admit, like, really hard, but in the spirit of not expecting people to reach out to me first, I've been reaching out to people over the last few days. Like, if I think about them, like, a lot, like, more than a couple times in a day, I reach out and I go, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay." And then when I get a response back that's like their shit, and then they're like, "How are you?" You know, whatever, I'm irritated. 'Cause I'm like, "Well,
Oh.
I wasn't it wasn't about me." Like, it's so
Oh,
fast.
you're
It's
irritated that
so
they ask
fast.
about you. Yeah,
Yes, it's so fast, but I recognize that as a protective measure. Like,
yeah.
I recognize that feeling so much. It's the same as, like, the first time I talked about being sexually abused as a child, telling someone that, and the look on their face made me feel so weird and mad and yuck, and when I was like, "They are pitying me. I don't need people's
Oh,
pity."
yeah, I hate pity. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I don't think they were pitying me. I think they felt deep compassion for somebody who experienced a trauma event as a child. But to me, it was like, ugh. Like, you're supposed to laugh at my trauma like I do, you know? Like, it was really a weird thing. And I can recognize that was me putting a barrier between other people and me to keep myself safe. And I can recognize too when other people are like, "How about you? How was the day?" You know, whatever. And I'm like, I didn't tell you to ask me about that. You know, like, it's so fast, but it's, like, something I feel kinda shamey about because I'm like, "See, people are trying to be sweet and you're such a bitch," but it just all goes back to that old narrative about you're just a mean person.
That's so relatable though, because I feel awkward talking about myself. So even me not being in grief, when people reverse the question on me, like, "How are you doing?" Like, it does bother me. So it does sound
Yeah.
weird, but I think that's a relatable experience.
Okay, because I feel like such an asshole, like, because my response is very
Because yeah, it's
full
like,
body.
the purpose of this conversation was not to talk about me, is because I wanted to know how you were doing. But, well, how would you feel if they didn't ask about you? Because I think that would also
Oh,
annoy
I
me.
would bitch about it to
Yeah.
myself, yeah.
Me
I'd be
too.
like, "They never even asked about me."
So that's what I tell myself when I get annoyed when someone asks how I'm doing. I'm like, I would be more
Absolutely.
annoyed if they didn't ask, so
Well, and I'm seeing that particular experience for what it is. I'm like, "Ooh, wow, it feels that unsafe to you for people to try." Like, "Oh, wow." Like, "Okay, where how can we soften that barrier a little bit?" And I've been glad to see that. Um, and I do believe that the irritation I feel at people's attempts to try to make me feel better is the same thing, but I also think it just hits that visibility wound where I feel so misunderstood, and you
Yeah.
cannot possibly understand this experience if you haven't gone through it. So, it's this constant loop of I feel this and then this and then there's the rationale of well then again and so I for now want off the fucking ride and I'm just like all right whatever happens happens and I'm allowed to feel bitchy about it and then I'm going to move on and whatever but I want it out of my brain. I want out of my brain about this cuz it happens way too much. I spend way too much time up in my brain about this
Yeah,
versus just surrendering to
do
it.
you think that's the deeper issue? Because, like, for instance, even I don't know exactly how you're feeling because 'cause I've never lost a child. I don't even have kids. So, even when you talk to me about it, there's probably a sense of, like, she doesn't get it. So, do you think, like, the deeper part to it is, like, almost everyone you're talking to doesn't truly understand what it feels like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but um I think too it's I told you my friend named it really well where no matter what, I just, like, couldn't get out of that feeling of isolation, and she said, "Well, because you're the only person who was Jake's mom, like, you can't share that
Yeah,
experience with even
because
another mom who's lost their kid, they
that's a good
weren't
point.
Jake's mom," you
Yeah,
know? And so, being able to name that really helped, so that really I think I got about 80% of that feeling gone then. Like, because at first, anyone talking to me really just like, it was really hard because it was like, "Well, yeah, but you don't understand, but you don't understand, but you don't understand. Nobody fucking understands." And I was like, "Well, someone's gotta understand. Like, what is this feeling that nobody understands?" And so when she said that, I was like, "You're right. There isn't another Jake's mom on this whole
yeah,
planet. So,
because
like, I
even
can't share that with anyone." And okay, that's fine. I get that part now, so that really does help in the framing of things, so it doesn't hit me in that wound the way it did. Now it's like the last remnant of that is the things people say in attempts to
yeah,
make me feel better, because overall, all I really feel is, "You just don't fucking get it." Like, you just don't get it, you know? And that's fair for me to feel, and it's fair that they don't get it, and nor would I fucking want them to. I
yeah,
don't want anyone to ever know what this feels like.
yeah, so I
So
guess it's a good thing. No,
right.
I think she nailed it the best because, yeah, even another mother who has lost their son, like, you are still having different experiences.
Yeah, I was just excited that I was able to verbalize enough of what I was feeling, like, in a way for her to go, "Yeah, but that makes sense," because I was just like, I'd be watching TikTok and these women who had lost children even around his age, around the time he died, whatever, and I was just like, "It feels good, but it also makes me feel even more isolated because it was like, "You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it." Like, that was just it over and over and over. And so I was like, "I don't know, I'm just in this weird, like, lonely, isolated place where nobody understands me," which I just don't feel like is a fair thing to think. And then when she said that, I was just like, "Oh my god, that makes perfect sense." I'm a little annoyed that I didn't come to that conclusion myself, but it really, like, really just hit it right in that I was like, "Oh," it was almost like medicine over the wound where it was like,
Yeah,
"Finally, okay, somebody sees me," like, because in her saying that too, it was like, I feel the most seen I've ever felt because you're identifying, like, the single most important part of this to me, which is like and you know what else? I think that really hit that's your neglect wound, that feeling of, like, I have the weight of the world on my shoulders and no one to help me carry it.
yeah,
That survival instinct tells me that so that I can then even push my family away because they don't understand. But I was aware enough of that to where it was like we are each experiencing our own loss here. And I feel like I've done a good job at not prioritizing my experience over anyone else's, which, by the way, not easy to do for a Leo moon. No, it's not, because usually I'm like okay, but really it's worse for me. It's worse for me, and you need to shut your mouth and give me support. Okay. But this whole thing, I've just been like, you have your experience, I have mine, and it's a collective grief that we have in our little family, and then nobody has to be bigger than the other one. And I even told Bryson that thing too when we were leaving grief group this last time, that Kathy had told me that, and I was like, and so I think that's what you're feeling too, like, when you're like, "Nobody gets this," like, 'cause now I don't have a brother, and, like, that was my only brother. I'm like, "You're the only brother that Jake had. Like, you're the only Bryson with
Mhm.
that relationship," you know? So, like,
Yeah.
you are experiencing your own set of loss here, and I think that helped him too to name it, but so profound. I was like, "Thank you, Kathy. Thank
Right.
you."
And I love that, yeah, you were able to pass that along to him.
Yes, me too, because that's almost the worst part
Actually,
is,
that's
like,
what
not
you
being able to
should
fix it.
that's a good thing to say to someone who's had a loss, like, something along those lines, because it helps them feel seen and understood.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, I need to ask her, like, "Did you watch some videos about how to support a grieving mother? Like, how did you know that?"
Right. We need
I
some
am gonna ask her
tips.
that, damn it, and
Yeah.
I shall report back because I wanna fucking know, because that was not something ever on my radar, because
Mm-mm.
that I it was just such a confusing feeling because we've talked about how grief just highlights what was already there, and so I'm like, "Well, I mean, I know, like, I have this wound, but this it's not quite I'm not quite able to name this. What is this? Why am I feeling this?" And just releasing the confusion around it was so nice because
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't like that.
why it helps to talk to other people, even if it's not like a therapist or like a professional, like
Absolutely.
even just talking to your
Yes.
friends sometimes helps have these breakthroughs.
Absolutely, and I think that's been the biggest thing to walk away from this, was, like, learning I was lying to myself all those years when I was like, "Well, I can't talk to them about it, what do they know?" You know, like, it really you learn so much from yourself even just by getting it out of your brain and out of your mouth
Yeah.
and hearing it instead of it just circling inside of you,
Yeah.
hearing it, then I'm like, "Oh, that doesn't quite work, does it?" You know?
Well, and
And
especially
I
I feel like
Go
we've
ahead.
had this happen a lot where, like, we're in our heads about something, and then we speak it out loud to each other, and it's like, "Well, that
Mhm.
sounds stupid." Like or,
Yeah.
like, it
Well,
becomes
and
obvious once we say it out loud.
yes, well, and it's because there's shame in the things that we're holding in, and anything that you're hiding grows in intensity and
Mm.
power the longer you keep it in. And so I've really tried hard to figure out how to talk shit out. And in those earliest days, like, I had a couple real weird thoughts that I was like, don't say it, don't say it. And then I was like, guys, I just like broke down to my family and like told them, they're like, no, no, but like a former version of me would have just held that shit in and tried to intellectualize it, but I was like, "Oh, we've thought about this for an hour. It's time to get it out. Like, let's just
Yeah.
get it out." So I'm really trying to show my family that too. Like, just say it out loud. What was it? What triggered this response, you know? Because I don't have to have the answer. And in terms of the unsolicited advice too, at first with Bryson, everything he said from a place of fear, really, I was just constantly educating on the grief process.
Mm.
And then after a couple weeks, I was like, he needs to be heard more than he needs to be educated. And so
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh, like even now when he and Brian talk about that night, because Jake had asked Bryson to play a video game, he had asked Brian to take him to the store to get a drink, and both of them said no. And I want very bad to continue to educate them on like why your brain is stuck on that. But instead, I'm just like, oh, yeah. When they're like, "I wish I had," you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I mean, me too,
rough.
bitch," but,
Yeah.
yeah, but I also know why your brain gets stuck like that, so I'm just like, w I'm trying to find the balance in that too, in, like, lovingly giving them information that really can help versus, like, Bryson's not always able to receive that, and so I kinda just gauge where he's at, like, or maybe later bring it up or whatever, but
Yeah,
I'm
like, when
trying
he's
not
not, like,
to
in the
jump
moment.
in too much. Yes,
Um,
because I don't want him to feel like I don't care, you know?
yeah, I know it's not important to them, but just out of curiosity, like, why and I know what you're saying, like, you have a tendency to fixate, like, "I wish I would've done this, and what if I
Mhm.
would've done that?" But why what is the reason for fixating on that?
Oh, it's just your brain and your nervous system attempting control. So if it can get caught in a thought spiral, it's like there's a resolution there. It thinks that
Got
it can
it.
think and think and think and resolve this versus just going, God damn, this sucks.
That makes sense,
It's
yeah.
the same as all the reasons we hyperfixate is your brain is attempting
Oh,
to
yeah,
gain
yeah, yeah.
control. Get out of your head into your heart.
Yeah.
So
It's just a
that's the thing
different
that I
form of
do.
rumination, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that's why I have really pushed myself anytime I'm in that place, like, okay, but is wishing that gonna bring him back? He's gone no matter what. So what is the resolution here? To stay in that remorse and shame and blame or go, sure, that might have changed the outcome, but nothing can change the outcome now. And what do I deserve for the rest of my life? I don't deserve to sit around beating myself up over coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Yeah.
I don't deserve that. And that's what I really had to come to in terms of like all the decisions I could have made differently over the last fucking 18 and a half years is that yeah, I could have. I
Oh,
could
I
have
was
made
just
a
gonna
lot of
say,
different decisions, and
yeah,
maybe it would have done something different. But the fact is, nothing I do right now, thinking, feeling, doing, is going to change the fact that he's gone. So I just lay it in its bed and I go, I deserve to live a life free of all of that shit because I didn't know any better then. Yes, I would do so many fucking things differently now, but I didn't know. Uh,
yeah.
and if you fucking knew someone was gonna die, yeah,
You
you'd do some
obviously would have
different
done
shit.
something differently.
Yeah. I mean, in my world, it was like, I'm so used to this fear and worry that this is just a part of my existence now, you know? So it's like, how do we get through this day? How do we get through this day? And so, yeah, like I would absolutely do so many fucking things different. But do I deserve a life full of shame, blame, remorse, fear? No, I don't fucking deserve that. I don't fucking deserve that because my child made some really shitty ass decisions and died. I don't deserve to carry that.
No.
The grief is mine, but I don't have to have that external shit.
Well, and especially you could have done a gazillion things differently, but would that have changed the outcome? Because he's
Exactly.
his o at the end of the day, he's his own person.
Yep. Well, just like my friend said too, little miss insight over here, same friend. When I saw her like a couple days after the funeral, she made me this like brunchy charcuterie
Oh, yeah.
board and we like hung out and stuff. Um when I was talking about that with her, she was like, "Yeah, but, like, my kid did a lot of that stuff and he didn't die."
See?
Like, you can't who knows what would have and that's when I really lean into the spirituality of things too. It's like, this may have just been the path he was put on this earth to take. Like, to this may be the only way I was gonna grow through the things I'm supposed to and the people around him, and I was even thinking yesterday because, oh my god, this made me cry. One of his friends that has been around since he passed and, like, came to the cemetery and stuff for his birthday, we were talking afterwards, like, texting, and I was like, "Thank you so much again for coming and for getting the cake," and,
Yeah.
whatever, and he was like, "Don't say thank you, like, you're helping me so much, being around you helps me so much, I know," and I
That
was like,
makes me
"Oh,
wanna cry.
I know," I was like, "You cannot know that that's the literal best thing," 'cause that's one of the only things I cared about right after was making sure his friends were okay, teaching them how to do this
Yeah,
in a way that's not gonna destroy them because I don't wanna go to their funerals, you know?
right.
And so,
Oh,
it just meant so fucking much to me that he said that, and I was like but I was thinking about it yesterday afterwards, and I was like, "And maybe this was part of it too, like, I wasn't gonna be friends with this kid otherwise." Like,
yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences,
I don't
so
either.
like, who I am in these people's lives now wouldn't have been if he was still here. So, I
Especially,
just
like, that's
believe this
such a,
was the
like,
path.
a mature thing for him to say for his age, you
I
know?
know,
So the
18.
yeah.
Yeah, it made me so happy. I
Oh,
was like,
I know,
"Well,
that's so
thank you."
heartwarming.
I know. He was like, Being around you just makes me feel so much better," and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, "Well, you come over anytime you want to, honey. Just come over. I'll be your mommy. Come over." And he has a very good mom. It's just, when you get to connect with someone who's feeling the same loss that you are, I remember being that way
Yeah,
with certain losses. Only like when it was my dad, I only wanted to talk to his family because I had a connection to him. And so I know I'm the connection. Me and Bryson are the connection to Jake for his friends. And so they love to connect with us any chance possible. But I was also like so glad. Oh, and do you know what else? A group of friends that I hadn't even, like, invited to the cemetery for his birthday were there when we got there,
yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh," because we went at the time we did because I wanted to be there at the time he was born, because that was a tradition that we had when the boys were little, is singing happy birthday at the time they were born.
We would
So we
always do
got
that on our
food and we
birthdays,
ate
yeah.
at the gazebo, and we got there in, like, a whole ass group. I mean, probably
Oh,
6
that's so
kids,
cool.
and I asked the friends that were with us, I was like, "Are they at Jake's grave?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's so and so." They're naming off people, and I was like, "Do you wanna ask them to they can come over," because they were, like, teenage, like, bitching, like, "I can't believe they're not coming over," and I go, "Well, they may think that we're doing, like, a private thing that, like, we wouldn't want them here. You can go invite them." "No, that's okay." But then when we went over at the time he was born, uh, one of his friends went to put something in the car, and I was like, "Invite them over." And so he did, only one of them ended up coming over, but,
Oh,
um, I just thought that was so sweet, and
well,
what a
yeah.
weird, like, thing that they were there at that time.
Isn't it a cool feeling to know that he touched so many other
Yeah.
people?
Yes, that's the thing that helped the most is hearing how much they loved him. Like,
Mm,
I I said this when I spoke at his funeral that, like, as his mom, I never knew how the world was receiving him. I didn't
yeah.
know if people liked him as much as he liked them, and so, like, even his best friend, I called his best friend's family his second family because now I understand they really were, but at the time, I knew he viewed them that way. I was unsure how the whole family viewed him, and now I see, like, oh, they did love him
Mm,
so fucking much, and so that has been very helpful because that was one of my biggest worries always was like, "Do people like him? Do they care about him?"
oh,
Yeah. And so just seeing how much he was very loved, I mean, he couldn't receive that from me or anyone else fully because of the way he felt about himself,
yeah.
but no one was being mean to him, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Which was
yeah, I
always what
love
I worried
that.
about. Yeah. So I'm, like, really glad that everybody showed up and they were so sweet, and, if you see that picture I posted, of the cemetery the other day, his friend, the best friend, welded that black rose, like, made it himself, and I was
Oh,
like,
I
"Oh
need
my
to go
gosh,
back
that's
and look at it.
so
I
pretty."
I
Yeah, look
saw
at
it.
it.
Um,
It's so pretty, and
make sure
I
they
was so
don't
impressed by that.
clean it up with their monthly cleaning.
Oh my god, so we read all the rules. So, what I misunderstood about the twice a year is they even remove flowers from the vases, those twice a year.
Why? Those are just, like,
Couldn't tell
biodegradable.
ya, couldn't tell ya. But once a month, that first week of the month, they take the week to clear the grounds.
That
And
seems
so
often.
it does seem often, and I don't think that they really do that in the winter, but I think as spring starts, they start it up again, and I just picked the very fucking worst time because 2 days later, everything was gone.
I
But
was like,
so
"I
we
love
read
the
all the
gnome, I
rules.
love this," and then, like, a few days later, you're like, "It's gone."
I was devastated. I was like, "Okay, well, that feels shitty, so great."
I know
But
it's, like,
anyway,
kept me
yeah.
all down.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, but I paid to replace the lights, and then I painted the mushroom thing, and Charlie painted the guitar, and we did some other stuff, but we'll slowly add more shit, so Now I know I have to go at the end of the month to pick stuff up, and then I'll go after the first week and
And
re-put it down.
and
But
just
then that way, like Easter, we'll put new stuff,
yeah, it
different
makes
stuff
it
like
kind of
that.
like a ritual. I guess in a way it's helping
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Exactly. And rituals are so good.
Yeah.
So, all right, love, we're out of time.
Yes. It was amazing talking to you as always.
You too. Hello. Before you go, make sure to check the show notes for all the links. You can join us on Patreon to get our weekly companion, The Unquiet Lowdown, and explore the other membership offers waiting for you there. And if you're enjoying the show, it means so much when you hit that follow button and give us a 5-star rating to help other souls find their way here.